Hello, welcome back to FTRL for round 2 of GT1. Like last night, we are around Tokyo South, counterclockwise, same track as last night. Quali will be getting underway probably next minute, I'd imagine. Everyone's here, so should be going any second now, to be honest. Good evening, Unsay. So yeah, qualifying will get started in a few, next minute time. Last week we had Aaron winning race 1, race 2 was then won by Graham. Similar type last night where once again it was someone different winning race 1 to race 2. Unsafe had a cracking night obviously, winning third in race 1, the second in race 2. But yeah, I think it tends to be, you start closer to the front for the second race, you will struggle to get by them. It's not the easiest track to overtake on, it's very narrow at points. And even on the straights, it's kind of a bit windy, it can be challenging even to get past at some points, so yeah. Definitely not the easiest place to overtake this one, not the hardest place obviously, there's a lot of straights, but yeah, definitely, especially in the twisty section, very, very narrow round here, so yeah, definitely a lot of things that could go wrong round here. I think we noticed as well in quali, last night, there was a lot of people that probably ran too close to other cars. And I think that kind of led to people maybe getting slower times than maybe they would have usually have gotten. Obviously it was very, very tight up top to me and unsafe, but I think there was a bit of a gap behind. I don't think that was as big a gap as it maybe was. I think there was a lot of people that kind of end up getting stuck behind other people running too close. So it'll be interesting to see what happens tonight and whether they'll try and spread out a little bit more perhaps in quali so that they can all get a good lap. And Ross's lap, which is obviously we're not on quali yet, but Ross's lap of a 1:58.0 is very marginally quicker than the pole lap from last night. But yeah, I don't think they're pushing to the match yet, so definitely we'll be in the 57s, I would imagine, comfortably for pole time this evening. Keep an eye on that. Good evening, Owen. Good evening, Fever. Good evening, Circus. SPY, 2 1,000 quicker than Ross before quali starts there. That is as close as you've seen enough. Beaten by last night, obviously, 1,000th of a second. But yeah, very, very tight there. Should be starting quali now. He's already put a warning in, so. Here we go. Fever suggesting that T. Smith done a 57.3. That doesn't surprise me, as I did expect it to be very, very easily in the 57s. If he's doing a 57.3, you never know, he could get a 56 if he gets some slip. But yeah, definitely we'll be in the 57s comfortably for the pole time, maybe even the 56s if someone gets a storming lap. So you definitely a couple of people to watch out for. The cars that should be good around here, obviously the Nissans were expected to be good. They were decent last night, and also they picked this track for a reason. So obviously you would expect them to quite. Obviously Lee was very quick last week, unfortunately didn't really go to plan, however very, very quick. Now, the other thing with this track is you're starting the lap instantly, so we've got Ross at the moment we're on board with. We'll go on board. A little bit deep there from Ross. However, now he gets a good... Oh, bit of a dodgy lap this one from Ross, I think. bit of bumping. Graham quite close behind Aaron, and SBY is far too close. Far too close. I don't know why he is that close. That is not going to be a particular benefit in a quarter lap. Graham might be better just backing off here. You don't want to be that close, like. I mean, you might gain through here, but then as soon as you get into this hairpin coming up, you're going to be slow, so slow. They're actually fighting. They're actually going side by side. Yeah. SBY brakes later. Graham. I don't know what the why are they doing this much racing? I thought GT2 was bad last night or something. What are they doing? God knows. Right, okay, Piggles is anyways gonna come round. Tricky last sector here. Audi does it reasonably well. Lambo is lovely for the last sector. The Viper will be a bus around the last sector. So, Biggles, are we going to be in the 57s to start us off? We are not. We are in low 58s. Ross did have a dodgy lap, so he'll be quicker than that. T Smith 58.2. SPY 57.9. I'm surprised he got that quick considering he was so close. There we go. Good lap though. 58.1, which is Carl. 58.4. Which is blue flag. Andy on the order 59.8, 59.2 for Tom Duval. You might be saying the Vipers here, they were ridiculous out of corners. They're horrible through the corners, but out of corners, traction wise, is honestly unbelievable. The drive they get off the corners is just stupid. But yeah. 57.8 for Feber then, so first one in the 57s. So that is just 2 times quicker than the pole time from last night. So already a couple of people in the 57s. Carl, a really good lap, 58.1. And I think that's quite a bit quicker than he went last night in quali, so that's interesting. I think the wind direction is very slightly different. Last night there was a headwind down the straight. Obviously wasn't ideal, but obviously you get the benefit of other places. It's a bit of a different, bit more of a crosswind tonight, so that's a bit different. Biggles getting off for another lap. Now Ross is decent position here. He's 4 tenths up, which is enough to see him move up quite a few places. It was not going to be enough for the top few positions unless he has an absolutely monstrous last sector. I mean, he has had a good nice corner. That Lambo is very nice through this sector. This is the bit scruffy there. He tapped his barrier slightly. But this will be an improvement for Ross, which is up to a 57.9. So a big improvement there, up to P4. T Smith 57.8. Aaron 57.6. Oh, that's Carl 57.7. Where has that come from? It's a big improvement on last night. 58.2 from Lee, 58.2 from Blue Flag. A lot of big improvements coming here. That's interesting from Carl. That's a huge jump. Huge from last night. And that Peugeot struggles down the straights, but in these twistier sections, it's performing nicely. Over Tom here, we're going to find out his first sector is here. This corner is really tricky. He's certainly not had a particularly good run through that corner there. He's quite a bit down, but all out of shape. Yeah, so Aaron, provisional pole, 57.6 now. It's a very, very good time. Aaron, we did say last week Aaron was really good in the sprint. He won the sprint last week. The endurance race where he struggled with fuel and tyres, that sort of stuff. Aaron again, good at the moment. Is he put too late under? No, he actually tucked in alright. Oh, catches the rear there. What is he then on through this lap? Give it time for a couple more laps, way down. Is Carl? Oh, Carl's miles down. What about Fever? He's he'll have enough time for another 2 laps as well. Keep an eye on him, he's in P3 at the moment. Oh, whoa! 57.2 from Ross. Where's that come from? 57.8 for Graham, that's a 57... was that 3 from SBY? 57.6 from Lee. Huge improvements all of a sudden here. Fieber's way down the order now, and 6th he was P2 for a while. That's massive improvements coming here. That was an excellent run for the last corner Fieber got there. Not sure where he is in terms of time, but very marginally down. Should have enough time though, he's got time for 2 more laps, so keep an eye on the guys towards the run. They're coming around sector 1 now, and Ross is way down on his time for sector 1. Biggles, he is in a nice slipstream of Ross, so keep an eye on him. He's down to P10 at the moment, 58.3. See how he can do. So actually if Ross has got out of the way, has Biggles. Oh, he's very deep. He is very, very deep. Far through from the outside of that corner. I don't know how much that will affect him. He can't get away with doing like a mid-run, as you can see, he's still up. He can't get away with doing like a mid kind of line through it. That actually sometimes worked out quicker than doing a narrow line. However, not quite that far on the outside. So we'll keep an eye on Biggles for this last sector. The Audi is fairly decent through this sector. Oh, he struggled there in that last corner. It was not particularly quick. The last corner, I'm not sure that's got much of an improvement. It is a little bit of an improvement, not much though. I think he was losing time in that last sector. So Ross is still in the lead for the moment. SBY make an improvement on this lap. Neither is Lee. They're all getting kind of ready for the last lap. 57.7 now from Blue Flag, so that's another improvement for him. That's an improvement from Will. He's up to P10 now. So down the back end of the thing, you've got Grumpy, you've got Tom Duval and the Viper, you've got Pagani and the Viper, you've got the Peugeot of Andy, so Vipers and Peugeot struggling a little bit. Fieber 57.5, so that's up to P3, so that's a very good lap from him. SBY is coming round now to the end of sector 1, so keep an eye on it. This is going to be his last lap, everyone's last lap now. So I need to count here. SBY a little bit all over the shot there on the exit, but he managed to keep it in a straight line, and he's got a lovely slipstream coming up. However, he's 3 times down, so I don't think he's going to make that up. Fieber, he's coming around now the dock section. It looks nice so far. This long right-hander coming around now. This is a very important corner, as this is your slingshot onto the straight. And Fieber was very committed through there. The speed he took through that corner, I was about to say, very impressive speed through that corner, and he is purple through the first sector. So we'll stick on board with Fieber then. Can he beat Ross on this last quali lap? He is purple through the first sector. SBI coming around now towards the end of the sector 3. This is the last lap. Fieber into the... This is the most... Oh, he's deep! Oh, he's so deep! Oh, it's all gone wrong. He's so deep. SBY, is he going to improve? No, he's not. Fieber, I don't know if that's going to be it. Tom has improved, but I don't know if that improved position. We'll check near the end. But 58 flat, that's decent time from Will. Again, I don't know if that's improved his position. Very committed from Fieber. He's trying to make up that time that he lost. Again, very committed for the last corner. 57.7 from T. Smith. Is Fieber going to make an improvement here? No, it all went wrong. It probably could have been pole. It was a disaster at the hairpin. Nobody else really improved on that last lap, so go. That was kind of similar to last night. It was really improved at the end of last night as well. It's definitely the Peugeots didn't really do particularly well. The SBY was kind of outsider there, but Tom's down as 7th, Andy down at the back end of the field. The Vipers as well, which was expected, to be honest. They really struggled. P8, P13, P14. They really struggle when it comes to qualifying, and particularly sprint. They seem to do well and fairly better in the endurance. I think that's because they're starting further. They don't do well in the sprint. They're starting further up for the endurance, and also the straight line speed of it and the drive out the corners that those cars have. It makes it borderline impossible to get past them at times, just because of that's such a good drive off the corner. And it's particularly around here where it's very narrow through the corners. Can't really find a way through, whereas if it was a bit of a wider corner, I think they would get overtook a lot easier. But yeah, because of the narrowness of this track. So keep an eye on them maybe for the endurance, especially if they finish down the back. But yeah, they might struggle in this sprint as well. So P1 for Ross, Peugeot in P2, there's another Lambo in P3. Oh, interesting, Lambo 1-3 here, doing well. Remember, rolling starts, Ross will get us underway. Ross is comfortably away then, and he's got a wee gap to SBY. Down the field, everyone gets away fairly straightforwardly. T. Smith is having a battle with Blue Flag. Blue Flag got an incredible launch, and he's already having a wee look at T. Smith there, and that Viper. But Ross gets away. Keep an eye on T. Smith, who might come under pressure from Blue Flag and the Viper, but also you need to keep an eye because SBY is closing in on Ross. Oh, down the inside. I think it's Aaron defending from Lee there. Lee having a little back down the inside. They might have cut that corner. They might get a penalty. They're going side by side for this section now. Aaron then gets back in front. Fieber's having a little go at SBY. Doesn't get the move done. Side by side still. Aaron though wins into that corner there. And P4 smashes the wall though. And also SBY has been overtook by Fever. So here we go. Lambo 1-2 then. SBY in the Peugeot losing out. Back in the field. Lee has overtook Aaron. Aaron jumped off the wall. A couple of people hitting the wall there. I think Carl was one of them. So having a look at the back of Aaron now. Aaron hitting that wall. And overtook. Down into the hairpin for the first time. It is a Lambo 1-2. In the background, SBY 3, Aaron P4 getting back past Lee. They're going side by side out the hairpin. T. Smith jumps past Carl into P6. It's still kind of side by side as that, Aaron and Lee. But T. Smith is now going around the outside of Aaron. Someone's hit the wall, I think, on the exit there. Carl's dropped down another place. He's down to P8 now as the Viper Blue Flag gets past. Wells in P9 in the Audi. There comes Graham in the last Lambo, P10. Biggles P11 as they get round and finish lap 1. Down the back, Grumpy still at the back. Then comes Andy P14, Pagani P13. But it is a Lambo 1-2 and Ross has got a gap. He's just about nearly out of slipstream range. SBY hits the wall as well. That's going to give SBY something to watch in his rear mirrors as Lee gets closer. And the Nissan, which is fast in a straight line. T. Smith is there as well as SBY's teammate as they head down towards the dock checks. And SBY goes defensive, though Lee sends it down the inside. But SBY breaks a bit later, covers him off. T. Smith having a look at Lee as well. Very close together, this bundle now. As Fever wants to try and get away. Ross has already got an 8-tenth gap. However, it was over 9 tenths. He's had a dodgy run. And that's going to allow Fever to get back in his slipstream range. That might not be too bad though, because SBY is fair distance back as T. Smith is now in P4 ahead of Lee and Aaron, P5 and P6. Carl comes P7, so he's got back past Blue Flag, who has Welfare Company with Graham in the background, Biggles and then Andy. All very close together as Biggles gives Graham a shove. He's looking particularly to get back past as Blue Flag's having a look at Carl is out front. It's T. Smith, Lee and Aaron who are all having a fight once more. This fight continues. It's still the same order out front though. But in behind, it's Will who's got ahead of Blue Flag at the hairpin. Blue Flag down to P9. That is Carl who's under pressure now from Will into the next corner. They're going to try and go side by side through this section, and they have managed it so far. I think Will's going to have to give that up. Carl managed to hold it. Good driving from the pair of them though, to avoid any big contact, as Graham has been shunted down the order and is back in P13 now, and he's with Tom Duval. Now the two of them had a battle all the way through race 1 last week. So if you're a fan in race 2, yeah, race 1 they were side by side the entire race. Tom Duval gets it turned in. Graham though is now under pressure from Begani. It's been a bit of a shocker for Graham, who's plummeting down the order as Ross continues his lead over SVY, over Fever, sorry, and SVY behind that. It's a 1-2 Lambo, 3-4 Peugeot. So an Italian-French top 4. And then in behind, the first Japanese runner of Lee P5. Carl again doing a stellar job in GT1, who's up in P7, and he's got a Viper behind him, so keep a close eye on him, who Blue Flag down this straight again is going to be absolutely flying towards the end of the straight. Graham is in P13, so something's happened to Andy. He's dropped down a few places, back to P14 now. As Pagani gets past Biggles. Biggles is out of shape there. Is Graham going to have a look as well? Graham gets past Biggles as well, so Graham up to P12. Andy's up to P13. Biggles loses out. Andy smashes the wall though on the exit. Bit of a mess in behind here, as nice little break. Nicely getting himself turned in. Yeah, Andy having a bit of tricky there, and he's might hit the wall next there. He's under pressure again here. Biggles seem alright. Ross has got a second lead somehow. Fever has made a mistake somewhere, and he's been overtook by SPY. I wonder if that was in the hairpin again, similar to what he'd done in his last quali lap. So SPY gets up, and it's now Fever's in a French sandwich, French baguette, if you will. T. Smith, P4 just behind. Lee MP5 in the Nissan. P6 for Aaron. Big gap behind then. Blue Flag's back past Carl now in P7. Behind Will, there's a big gap back to Tom Duval. That's this battle. Pagani, Graham, Andy, Biggles, Grumpy. So there's a big old gap out front now. Fever's got back past SPY. I wonder if that was down into... we just missed that. Probably down into the docks. Big old gap out front though, 1.5 seconds. He's well out of slip range, Ross now, so he's away. The thing is here, it's SPY now that's under pressure, because SPY's got a dodgy run through that corner. So I wonder if they'll be just pushing each other along the Peugeot, so you're trying to catch back up, which they now are doing when they're in slip, and a little bit of pushing from Tom, getting that Peugeot up to speed. Fever, half a second gap though, so he's comfortable at this corner and not be under pressure. As Tom has a look down the inside, and he does go down the inside. As Lee tries to follow through, SPY though gets the exit and maintains position there, so Lee has to think again. Fever needs to try and get away here, see if he can catch back up to Ross, so that he's got a buffer here, because Tom and the other Peugeot behind him with SPY are thinking about how they get back at them. SPY then drop down a P4, he's got a lead directly behind them. Lead Japanese car. Back to P7, P8, P9. It's Will's actually got past Carl. Tom Duval still leads the battle behind, with Pagani's behind. There comes Graham. Grumpy's up to 13th now, so improvement from him. He's got a couple of places. Biggles and Andy are the last two. So Tom is actually dropped back a tiny bit from Fever. He's now once again getting a little bit of slip and also a bit of a push from SPY as Fever gets himself turned in the dock section. Ross got 1.3 out in the leads, doing and throwing. Fever has had a good run there, and he has gone away from Tom a little bit, and also while doing that has caught up a little bit to Ross. But the thing is, Fever is actually decently quick through this section, and he has now got a second gap behind. So I wonder if they're going to break away now, Fever, and if it might be a situation here where they're going to struggle now, the Peugeots, to keep the Nissan and the Audi behind. It's Tom second and he's to find now. SPY has a look back here. This is messy as they're all having a look in the inside here. In the background, as Aaron tries to have a move on Lee, which I think he has managed there, as Lee has a dodgy run on the exit. Tom's had a decent run though through there, and that's allowed them back in, closed in a little bit to Fever. Ross has increased that gap marginally again, it's back up to 1.5 seconds. Blue flag still in P7, he's got well close behind. Carl's dropped off the back a little bit. Still P10 and P11 for the Vipers and the Lambo P12, who have a gap now behind, which is now a separate battle between Andy, Biggles, and Grumpy has had a bit of a disaster. Is he pitted? He's pit, he's on an outlap. What's happened? How has he ended up in the pit lane? I wonder what's happened there. He somehow ended up in the pit lane. As Fever's had a dodgy run now. There's a gap behind though as SPY has been dropped down to P5. Aaron's up to P4. T-Smith is right in the slip now of Fever. Very close behind. Ross has got a big gold gap now. It's increased again to 1.7 now, so he's fairly comfortable. As Fever has a Peugeot all in his rear mirrors. He's kind of hold on to a Lambo 1-2 at the moment. As top six have that comfortable-ish gap to this battle behind. However, 10 seconds still covers the top 10, so Graham's in behind the two Vipers, so I don't envy that. He'll struggle to get past them. It's bad enough trying to get past one of them, let alone two of them in a row. Is Tom going to go for a move here? Fever, I wonder. As Aaron has SPY all behind him. Having a little look as T. Smith tries to go the long way around. He's not going to get that. Fever covers the cut back. And it's still as you were. The gap's nearly 2 seconds out front. He's been in the 57s all the way through, Ross. Very consistent. Fever has the fastest lap, but he's not quite as consistent. It's the 58.3, which is nearly a second worse off than that fastest lap. Top 6 still. Got that gap behind. So this battle here as Carl's closed back up. I think the two in front of him hit the wall at one point and it kind of just about caught that. Tom DeValk still leads. Graham is all over the back of Pagani, but he is going to find it tricky to get anywhere. Fever has that Peugeot everywhere in his rear mirrors. He's got this lap and still 3 more after this. So he can hold on as Aaron has got SBY and Lee very close behind as they come into the docks. We'll keep an eye on this as SBY. Oh, as Tom goes down the inside of Fever and Aaron is very wide and Lee takes the move on both of them and jumps up to P4. So Lee gets P4. Aaron getting his elbows out with SBY. So Fever's back past T. Smith, so I don't know how he got back past. We're keeping an eye on the battle behind. So moves coming between this battle for the last few podium places. Ross is comfortable at 2.2 out in the lead. Blue flag and well P7 and P8 still as you are behind. Everyone's kind of maintaining the order at the moment. Ross into the hairpin. Tom again goes for the outside line, tries to get a good cut back. Lee is now within getting close to the back. He had a really bad exit though there, and he's now under pressure from Aaron. He was doing well to catch up to them, but in the kind of a mess. Oh, T Smith having a look at Fever there. Maybe Norris in the chat. Hello. Fever under pressure there from T Smith, having a look. Possible move. Oh, nicely through the last corner. 3 more times they've got to do that as they head on to lap 8 of 10. Ross, 2.1 still out in the lead. It's still a 1-2 for the Lambos. Not an easy 1-2 though, as Ebert has been under pressure for most of this race. Aaron has been in P4 and then he was down in P6 and he's hit the wall. He's again made a bit of a mess at that corner, and the blue flag might start getting interested here. You know, 2 seconds off at Aaron. SBY's lost the back of Lee a little bit. Gap's down to under 2 seconds, so Fever and Tom have had a good run. I think it's going to be too much to get close to Ross unless Ross makes an error. And so far he's been seamless out front. Tom having a look here. He peels once again to the outside and he tries to go all the way round the outside. Contact on the exit. However, T Smith has the move. T Smith gets past again. Can Fever get back past again? That Lambo does really well through this last sector. It's where it shines, and you can see at that last corner there, Fever just taking a different line and getting an excellent run out of the corner, and he's got that good a run that he was nearly past T Smith there, past Tom, where he sat back. 2 laps to go. Oh, Fever, dodgy run. Lee's having a look. Could go from bad to worse. Fever though has the slipstream of T Smith. He also has the inside line. So we'd imagine that Fever will have this, which he does do. Lee's having a look, but Fever nicely covers it. He needs to try and keep with the slip now. Can he get back past T Smith? Fever and T Smith, similar runs through there. Ross still comfortable out front. Behind, still the As You Were, as Fever now closes up to the back of T Smith. We're on lap 9 of 10. T Smith just got back past Fever. Fever will want that place back, and he is only a few car lengths behind T Smith here as they head towards the hairpin. Fever pulls to the outside and he moves alongside, he moves past. T Smith will brake later. He'll have the inside line. Fever goes for the undercut. And they go side by side into the next corner. Fever will have the inside line. They go side by side. T Smith nudges ahead and keeps the position. Ross still P1. T Smith, he's very, very wide. Fever nearly pushing him round that corner. Tom got all out of shape. Bad run through the last corner for Tom. Fever will have the upper hand again. This battle all the way through this race as Fever now has a look down the inside and will go for the move. Side by side, T Smith gets the corner. Constantly watching this battle, he's gone all the way through this race. It's As You Were behind as T Smith and Fever go side by side, and Fever again takes the outside line as Tom Brakes later, and Fever has to get the cut back. Oh, and it's side by side. It's messy between them. And T Smith and Fever now have company behind him. As it was messy there, Fever directly behind T Smith. Fever, dodgy run. Lee's got the advantage on him. But then Fever's got the slipstream from T Smith. As Lee pulls out from the slipstream, but he gets back inside it. Ross coming towards the final few corners, and Fever pulls out from the slipstream and overtakes T Smith. Fever to the inside for the final time. T Smith having a look down the inside. Fever gets the outside line. Will he have the run? They go side by side, heading up to the final sector. Ross is P1, but Fever is going to try and hold it round the outside. T Smith then gets the run. T Smith holds P2. Fever trying to get back at him. In behind, it's still as you were. They head towards the checkered flag. Ross takes P1. It's going to be a T Smith and a Fever rounding out the podium. Very close. Lee P4, SBY P5, Aaron P6, blue flag. Then comes Pagani, Carl. Graham is going to take P10 from Tom Duval. Pagani gets P12. Then comes Andy Biggles, and Grumpy is going to be last across the line to take P15. So Graham managed to get through the Vipers. We missed that, the crazy battle that was going on out front. But wow, that was quite something. That battle out front as Grumpy finishes us off in P15. So the double points, it's P4, P9 and P15 for the Vipers. So there we go, there is your result for race 1. It was a Ross win, very close in behind, as less than a second covered P2 to P6. 5 positions, just over 0.8 of a second. That is incredibly close. What a battle that was, all the way through for those podium places. Fastest lap went to Lee in the end, up 57.2. So very, very quick there. Everybody in the top 9 got a lap in the 57s. Graham managed to get past the 2 Vipers, P10. The other Peugeot was P13 and Biggles P14. And yeah, the last GTR in P15. There we go then, that was race 1. Race 2 is a 26 lap race, reverse grid. Hards and mediums must be used. There's no obligation for length of stint. As it's reverse grid, it will be Grumpy starting in the lead. However, he'll be alongside, was it Andy, I think it was? Oh, Biggles maybe. Biggles obviously did fairly well towards the start of last week's endurance race. Graham did incredibly well. Obviously, he won last week's endurance race. He started towards the front. He is going to be starting P6. So, again, he will be fairly good, I would expect, during this. Also, keep an eye on the Vipers. Starting P4 and P5. They will be very, very quick. In the straight line, so watch out for them making moves towards the start of the race, and they'll be tricky to get past. So yeah, an interesting couple of things to keep an eye out. should be good to go in a few minutes' time, I'd imagine. I'll just be sorting the grid out and making sure everyone's in the right position. I think I'll probably go. Probably go with the similar to last night in terms of people starting towards the rear. Probably go to hards. People starting towards the front tend to choose the mediums. The hards are around about a second to a second and a half slower than the mediums. I think the times last night were in the 59. The really competitive times were in the 59s on the hards. So I'd expect that there'll be low 59s into the 58s perhaps on the hard tyre if you get a good few laps. But that's obviously the mediums will be low 58s in GT1 for the top guys, maybe the odd 57. Obviously there's will be slower times in the sprint, so there's no fuel depletion in the sprints. GTRs will definitely be hoping for a bit of a better race perhaps on this one. It'll be in their double points week. Yeah, they'll be hard to beat, I'd imagine. Lee will be trying his best to do a little bit better perhaps maybe on this race, see if he can get as close to a win as possible. But yeah, there's a reason they chose this, so I'm sure they'll be trying their hardest this race to take advantage of the double points. Obviously Carl did in race 2 last night, winning it and taking away 60 points in the process. So that'll be him comfortably leading GT1. GT2, sorry, until perhaps the other teams get their double points, then you can see where it ends out. Blue flag there on a hard tyre doing 59.9, so yeah, that was kind of the expected last night. So yeah, I'd expect once they've warmed up as well, we're kind of going to be in the low 59s, I'd imagine, for quite a few of them. I'd say perhaps maybe a 58 for the guys. Kind of just depends. Some cars obviously will respond slightly differently to the hard tyres than others. I think we should be ready to go about now. That's me why a few times up on the hard tyre there, so he's of course from mid 59 at the moment. Biggles 59.2 on the mediums. So guys, slowing down now. So off we go. Ready for 26 laps. So yeah, Grumpy, Biggles, Andy all on. Oh, actually, I was going to say all on the Grumpy again. Interestingly, started on the hard tyre. That didn't really work out last week for him because he ended up getting properly kind of smothered by the field, so yeah, interesting. Yeah, interesting choice. Pagani's also on hard tyres, so also is Graham. So some interesting decisions. Grumpy starting off on the hard tyres, he will get us away nicely. 26 laps ahead of them. Hard mediums mandatory. And again, Viper getting a good start. Blue flag and Will side by side. Blue Flag trying to make that move past well. And he might get it down into the dock. Oh, Biggles though goes for a move. An early move here for the leads. And he does brake very late, and he's so far on the outside. Grumpy keeps the place. In the background we've got Tom Duval P3. Then it's Andy, Pagani, Carl, Graham. Well, Blue Flag's been shuffled down to P10. And then comes SUI, Lee, Feber, T. Smith and Ross, Garage Work. And when they started the back, now it's Biggles having a go. The Audi versus the GTR. It's a straight line top speed test here as they go side by side all the way through towards the hairpin. Fairly similar. Oh, side by side still. Fairly similar on top speed here. Grumpy kind of gave way there, and I think Biggles is taking the lead there on the medium tyres. Into the hairpin they go. All through nicely. Tom Duval gets through on Grumpy as well. And Andy having a look in the background. The Lambos were side by side there, which was Feber getting up to P11. Graham's down to P13. So Graham P14. So bit of a shocker for Graham. Fever P11. There was a pit stop from Pagani, who's going for a very aggressive strategy, getting rid of those hard tyres instantly. Oh, Grumpy. Oh, I think that was Tom Duval actually. Sorry, it was Tom Duval hit the wall on the exit. I think Grumpy followed him though. Andy right in the back. Remember, Andy's on medium tyres, Grumpy's on hard tyres. Then comes, we've got Aaron up in P6. So Aaron's had a great start. He started down in like P10, I think it was, round about. So yeah, he's had a cracking start up to P6 on the hard tyres as well. There's Blue Flag also hard tyres, SBY hard tyres. Then comes Lee. Feeber's up to P10. He's got past Well. He's also on the hard tyre. So a good few moves early on from Feber. Who's that? Oh, is that Grumpy? Oh, it's Grumpy. It's been a disaster, and he went alongside T. Smith. Grumpy on the hard tyres. It's went always side by side, and Ross is on. Had to take avoiding action, and I think he is now through past Grumpy. Yeah, that was a bit of a disaster there for Grumpy. And Ross swoops round the outside, gets cut through as well, as it's 1.3 seconds out front in the top two. Then comes Andy, then comes Carl. That mistake from Grumpy sees Aaron up to P5. What a start from him from P5. The other Viper in P6 began, remember, pit early. Oh, there's Aaron going for a look down the inside of Carl. And he has got the move done as Blue Flag has a little look on Carl. Remember, that Viper's extraordinary on its power out the corners, and look and behold, went from a 10th behind on the exit, and he now has the inside line. There you go, there is the skill of the Viper. However, through this section it's then a bolt, but it's very tricky to get back past, so he'll stay ahead. 1.8 seconds out front. Down the field we've got SUI P7, Lee P8, Feber's P9, Graham. Oh, what's happened to Graham here? Graham has had a bit of a shocker, I think, here. He's well detached now, unfortunately for Graham, so things have went from bad to worse for him. Okay, pit stops will be probably around the lap 6-7 mark for the hard tyre runners. It's the battle here with SBY going down the inside of Carl. Carl gives him the room, and I think SBY has got past. He has. SBY moves up. Now the two GTRs of Carl and Lee, teammates. I wonder if Carl will let Lee go. Has Carl got the livery on? Because Carl looks different to Lee's. Very different. Looks like a stock one on Carl's stuff. Well, he's very close to the back of Fever, so we can get back past. It was a good start up to P9, so was Lee. But yeah, it's definitely Aaron who's in P4 who's had the who's had the absolute monster start here. Well, having a look at Fever here. I think Fever might have the slip here in the run. There we go. So Fever keeps hold of that place. Lee's having a look at his teammate. His teammate, oh, he's very well. Where is he? I think he let him go there, didn't he? Not the best. I mean, if he was going to let him go, I think a straight would have been slightly easier than going round the last sector. But okay. T11 now, he's closing up to the back of Will. 2.3 out front there from Biggles. Remember, he's on mediums. So is Tom Duval and Andy. The first hard runner is Aaron, who is in P4. And then you've got Blue Flag, SPY, Lee, Carl and Fever. So all of them are in the same scenario right now. They're all on hard tyres. It's only the top 3 who are doing the alternate strategy, starting on the mediums. But remember, of course, they'll still have the hard tyres to run towards the back end of the other stints. Definitely 2-stop race for most. Gary might be doing the 3-stop because he hit him lap 1, so I can't see him making a 2-stop work with that. But yeah, everyone else should be 2-slot. They're all kind of finding a little gap now. Nobody's, I mean, they're close together, but nobody's like really close. Other than Carl and Lee, but I don't think Carl's going to overtake Lee again because once he let his teammate go, so that would be pointless to get back past him. It's very good though. It uses a defence. Lee's slip as a defence from Fever and Will behind, and T. Smith. Then comes Ross, who is very nicely going along. Not much difference in fuel. SBY's been a bit thirsty. Blue Flag's even thirstier in that Viper. Aaron's thirsty, but not quite as bad as SBY and Blue Flag, who are very thirsty. Luton had a dodgy run for the last corner, hitting the wall. Andy's had a bit of a dodgy lap. He's starting to caught very slightly, I think, by Aaron here. I don't think they'll get to the point where they're that close to him though. I feel like they'll be in to pit off those hard tyres before long. There we go, Fever is all over the back of Carl. And down the inside he goes. Thinking of the cut back there, Carl, but that was nicely. Ooh, sorry, hit the mic there. That was nicely done by Fever, who got a good enough drive off that Carl couldn't get the cut back there. So Fever up to P8, making steady progress, like Lee in P7. All these guys are kind of on a similar strategy. Fuel might play a difference, which is why Aaron and Blue Flag are going to struggle. Blue Flag in particular, and that Viper who's incredibly thirsty now. Everyone behind has more fuel. So that's why it's you make struggle in pit stops here, make it jumped possible. As Will has a look there at Carl. Oh, Carl! Where is Carl going? Where? Oh no, he's in the pits. Never mind, Carl. Carl pits. I thought Carl had broke himself. He decided to pit. Very late on the brakes. So Carl does the early pit stop. Where will he come out? It'll be interesting to see where comes out in terms of Pagani. Now, I'd imagine Pagani should come out ahead comfortably, but just see the cap. Because obviously Pagani will have a less fuel, so he should be out. Pagani should be well in front when he comes out. Lee's very close to the back of that Peugeot. Did give him a little push. We're well in the 59s, 58s occasionally, as expected for the odd lap. 59s mainly for the hard tyre runners. Aaron's P4, he's blue flag just for company. Blue flag has used significantly more fuel. It is a noticeable amount more fuel that blue flag has used. So definitely going to struggle. SBY has a look down the inside. Blue flag was to cover him off. And Fever taking a bit of a watching brief on what's happening out in front of him. So top three, interesting look at tyre wear. Tom Duval's Viper is certainly the worst. Biggles and Andy's, so Audi Peugeot seems to be similar, but definitely the Viper seems to be the worst. Interesting to see here, what is blue flag going to do? In the slip of Aaron, and he just decides to give him a wee love tap, just give him a wee push along the straight. Now, this is a possible pit stop lap for a lot of them. Interesting to see who's going to do it. Now, Aaron takes the pit stop line. So does Lee. Lee with a lot more fuel than Aaron here. So I think Aaron's going to get jumped here by Lee. I think he'll be fine and safe from T. Smith. But yeah, I would imagine he'll get jumped. So FIBA, SBY blue flag all carried on to the well P7. They're all going for another lap. But Pagani is P8, so he is only 8.7 behind the guys in front of him. The difference is though, Pagani actually has already less fuel than the guys in front of him. So they're kind of in a similar place. I'm not sure that strategy has worked out for Pagani really. Is that blue flag and SBY there having a look at each other? So where have they come out? So T Smith has underfueled. So has Lee. Lee is also underfueled. So Lee has got track position now and has jumped up to P10. So interestingly that they all decided to do a difference in fuel. So Lee underfueled. We expected them to jump Aaron anyway, but underfueled to make sure of it. T Smith underfueled to jump Aaron. So Aaron has fully fueled up and is now behind them. Ross is behind in P14. Now, this is the gap behind, 3.7 between Andy and blue flag. Now, these three I would imagine are going to be in this lap. This well, I imagine as well. So blue flag comes into the group and we go, and they're all taking the pit line. And in terms of fuel, so was FIBA, who had significantly more fuel. He's got a second in hand over SBY here, and he's got about 3 seconds over blue flag. So definitely blue flag is going to lose out here, I would imagine. Interesting to see where they come out, how they fuel up, and where they come out in relation to Lee and Tom and those guys, as well actually has carried on. So that's interesting. Pagani keeps going, he's not into his next stop yet. Biggles has a nice comfortable gap out front. He is 4 seconds in front, sitting regular 58s and just about into the 59s now. The guys behind are about 2 to 4 times slower per lap, so Biggles definitely seems to have the upper advantage. Now, T Smith has come out in is now P9. Aaron's P10. Now, FIBA has fully fueled and has come out in P11, a second ahead of SBY. Then comes Ross. Blue flag has been, unfortunately for him, as expected, the fuel situation has now plummeted all the way down to P14. Now, Graham's P15. Remember, he's had a bit of a shocker of a lap near the start, unfortunately for him. So that's why he's down the order. Grumpy's in P6. Remember, he's on hard tyres, so he's out of sync with the rest of the guys. 58.8 passes lap personal best for him, last time around. 58.4 is the fast lap of the race, which is Biggles set on medium tyres. Now Carl is P8. He pit early, yeah, he pit lap 5. So a lap earlier. T-Smith's already getting close to the back of him. Keeper's got a nice gap behind. Ross is already in the slip now of SBY, so Ross is looking for a move here. So go on board, see what he does. SBY covers the inside line, Ross outside. He's going to let SBY, I think, do it. Yeah, he's going to let him go. And Ross then going to try and get a good run through the exit. SBY was very smart there as well. Finally comes into the pits, and he comes out directly beside Ross, but Ross obviously has the speed out the corner. Well down to P13. A lot of pit stops still to be made though. A lot of people haven't made their first stop, or Pagani for example out of sync slightly. Personal best interestingly for Andy, which is coming lap 8, which is an odd one, because other than he's now got tyre wear. Interesting. Offset by the fuel perhaps. I'm not confident. So Lee is the lead runner who has now completed the hard stint and is on the typical strategy. Pagani obviously has completed his hard stint, but he's on an alternative strategy and is out of sync. So Lee's your kind of benchmark in terms of the hard to medium runners. So we've got Biggles, which is the benchmark for the medium to hard runner, so he's going to be the lead one of them, certainly. Fever had a gap to SUI, which has now come down a little bit, so I don't know what's happened to Fever. He was in a dodgy sector, perhaps. We'll see here. He has a second ahead of SUI, so he's got a decent buffer. As Fever now is purple through, maybe I remember it was at the end of the last sector. He's set a 59.2, which is slower than what he set on hard, so that would suggest he had a dodgy lap. Fever is now though getting a jiffy on. I think a lot of them are getting a jiffy on though. As Biggles interestingly has now set a new fastest lap, similar to Andy on this lap, which is interesting. Now he's on lap 10. He's done a stellar job here in the Audi as Biggles. 58.3 fastest lap of the race, and he is going to be in for his stop now. Same with the second and third. Probably Grumpy will be as well, which will release, I'd imagine, Lee into perhaps the race lead, maybe. We'll see where they come out, because obviously fuel will be different. SBY is a little bit detached from Fever now. Ross for company. Aaron's directly behind T-Smith. T-Smith is behind Carl. Carl's pretty in P6 at the moment now. The guys behind have a lot more fuel. Now that's the difference here. Now Lee is in a very solid position, and Lee is going fastest at the moment out on track, with the exception of, unfortunately, Graham has set a 58.1. Unfortunately, Graham is detached from the back of the field. Pagani has done a pit stop, he's back out the back of the field. Now, Biggles enters the pits, nicely done. Tom Duval and Andy follow in pits. Now, Grumpy, I'd imagine, will be in too. Lee comes out. Will he come out related to Lee, sorry? He's going to be in the race now or not. Fever, personal best, 52 last time around, and he's again a personal best. He's catching fairly quickly up to the back of Aaron now, and yeah, it's interesting now. Battle. Lee, certainly, I would say, I think Lee's my favourite for the race win with Biggles at the moment. As Biggles is now out in the race lead. He has got a little bit more fuel than Lee, and he has now got the hard tyres. So once Biggles completes this hard stint, they will then be on the same strategy, will then be on the same tyre in the last stint. So Lee, I think, has the advantage here because Biggles are probably going to do at least 5-6 laps on those tyres, and that 4.2 seconds will be evaporated by those tyre difference. Having dodgy through the last corner. Fever under a second now. T Smith is closing right up to the back of Carl as T Smith sits a 58.4, which is a large improvement in time as Fever catches up, and Ross is now making moves past SBY up to P8. Tom Duval's come out in P7 on the hard tyre though, which is going to be quite slow, particularly as he's in a Viper, which is already not particularly good at straight cornering, and then giving a hard tyre on top of that is going to be pretty awful. Keep an eye on this. SBY, I think Ross might let SBY back through. I don't know if he did that on purpose, I'm not sure. It's going to be interesting to watch here. I think Tom Duval is going to get absolutely obliterated here when it comes to the next straight. Well, he isn't a Viper, mind you, but getting a double slipstream behind Ross, in particular SBY is out of slipstream. SBY is out of the slip here because Ross got a better run, SBY got a dodgy run, and that's now resulted in Ross now having the upper advantage on them, on the two of them, and he now is going to have a little look at getting past Tom Duval. Tom Duval is going to be a sitting duck in the corners, you would imagine, but he isn't a Viper. He's got an incredible drive off the corner. Tom Duval is very wide and he's all over the shot, and that is going to make it very easy for Ross to get through. However, Tom Duval, it's an incredible run off the corner, which is customary with that Viper. However, I think still Ross might have the advantage on those tyres. Tom Duval now, I think, is going to go sitting duck for the next part. Tom Duval didn't know when to back out there. Ross had the line and Tom Duval decided to try and keep his nose at him then. He should have just given that up. Ross had a bad run for the last corner though, that's allowed SBY back through. And blue flag is now directly behind his teammate. Go back to this battle then for the time being, SBY and Ross. Fever directly behind Aaron as Carl has been overtook by T Smith and Lee. The gap out front's down to 2.5 seconds. SBY is Tom Duval has just I think Ross is particularly impressed with that. That was much looked like a push out the way manoeuvre. Tom Duval is back in front now. Ross is now right behind Tom Duval. Interesting to see what way they decide to go here as Ross pulls to the inside and Tom Duval brakes late. Ross now has the inside line for the next corner. Tom Duval again this time has went far too far on the outside in the smack area, and that is going to be the end of that battle, you would imagine, as Ross now has the upper hand. Tom Duval though, with a slip, is trying to come back past him again, and Tom Duval trying to go round the outside, and Ross give him a shove. This is my corner. Feisty battle that one. Fever's through against Aaron. Making moves as Fever. He's got a fuel advantage as well against the two in front of him. However, important to note that I think Lee is still the lead runner of the medium tyre runners. However, Lee's tyres look pretty short. Look at the difference between, for example, Carl pit early, Fever hasn't, but look at the difference in tyre wear now. Even between T Smith and Fever, T Smith is using a lot of tyre, but Lee's tyres compared to Tom's, he is using a lot of tyre, so he might start to struggle in these last few laps. He's using a lot of tyre. Tom Duval all over the shot there, and Will actually had to back out mid-corner. Usually he would be flat out there, but he actually had to back out mid-corner because Duval was struggling to get that Viper turned in. Which way is he going to go here? What is he going to try? Is he going to go for the inside? Is he going to get the inside though? I think he's going to go for it here. Well, down the inside. Oh no, Duval ended up getting it turned in. Alright. Ross out in front of him. And then comes SBY, P7. He's dropped down the order slightly. Carl is P4. He's got Fever catching him. Lee has lost half a second here, so 59.2, so that is the slowest lap for a while from Lee. 6 times quicker was E. Smith, and Fever's at 58.2, so Fever is flying along here and gained a second on Lee, for example. So yeah, this is becoming very, very interesting. I'm not quite sure who's in the net race lead. It's either one of Biggles, Lee or Fever, because Fever's got a lot more fuel. I'm not quite sure who has it. Is it Biggles or Fever? Biggles is doing a good job out front. He's still 1.8 seconds out in the lead. I thought Lee was going to catch, but I think Lee has just used far too much of his tyres that he's now not able, he's not going to grip anymore. And I think Carl's doing a stellar job in P4 as well. He's both, that's second and fourth at the moment for the GTRs. I think Fever's in a really good position, but I also think Biggles is has got more fuel as well, and he's still holding on those hard tyres, so I think this is still anyone's. Anyway. Interesting. I feel a bit sorry for Graham here, who has pretty decent pace, but unfortunately for him, that lap that he had, he lost a good 13-14 seconds. As Will gets past Tom Duval. It's finally happened. Trying for a few laps. That Viper again though. Good drive off the corner. Go well up to P9 now. Viper's dropping down the order. Yeah, I'm not sure the strategy for Begani's really worked out. He was going quick, but I'm not sure it's really worked out for him. Biggles 2 seconds. He's actually increased the gap, I think. Biggles is just a 59 flat on hard tyres. He's only 7 times off his personal best on mediums. He's properly flying along, is Biggles. Yeah. Stellar job. Yeah, Lee, I think he's not quite able to go at the same pace as some of the guys behind him due to the tyre wear. And you can see now that Fever is within 6 tenths of a second of Carl, which is important as well. And that he had a great run as well, so he's going to be, I think, all over the back of him here as they head towards the hairpin. I think Fever might have a run at him here. He's going to be gaining all the way down this straight. On at Cam here, down the inside he goes. Clean move from Fever, nicely done. He moves himself up to P4, he's in a good position. He's making moves with the guys in front, struggling in less fuel. This is a chance for Fever to get his head down. He's 6.1 off the lead. Very impressed with Carl though. P5. Aaron just set a personal best, so Aaron's woke up. P6 as well. SBY comes in P7. Then comes Ross, who has got Will directly behind. Will has got more fuel though, so Will's got a bit of an advantage on the fuel situation. Then comes Blue Flag, Tom Duval, Andy, Pagani, and then Graham, who's... Oh, is he on to his last stop? He's going for a long last stint then. Biggles 1.1 seconds out in the lead now, 1.2 hovering. So that's coming down, as Feebar's now only 5.7 and is set a 57.7, which is the new fastest lap of the race. They get slip in that lap from Carl, but that is some lap from Feebar, who is absolutely flying out there. There's only 5.5 seconds. The lead here. T. Smith is due in the pits this lap. Is he fuel saving, I wonder? They're all coming into the pits in front of him. He's going to have clear track in front here for a lap or so. What he's going to hope for is that everyone comes out battling each other. 58.1 last time around for Aaron. He's properly catching now, and unfortunately though, he's going to have to come into the pits now as everyone enters the pits. 3 litres for Biggles, 2 litres for Lee, 2 litres for T. Smith, 5 litres for Carl, 7 litres for Aaron, interestingly, who's saved more. Interesting there. So we're going to see what happens when they come out, as Feebar now has a 5-second lead out front to SBY, who is on the same strategy and the same fuel. Let's have a little look. Where does Biggles come out? Oh, so Lee has underfueled. Lee's jumped. Lee's jumped in the pit lane. He's underfueled again. They're on the same tyre. Biggles has come out behind him. T. Smith's come out a chunk behind as well. Then comes Aaron, then comes Carl. So Aaron's jumped Carl in the pit lane because he managed to save a bit more fuel. Ross has come out in P13 behind this cluster. But yeah, that's an interesting one there from Lee. He has underfueled considerably compared with Biggles. And he's come out and he's got track position though. The interesting one though is going to be what happens when Feebar comes into the pits. Oh, side by side, Tom Duval and Andy. These two. Oh, and different strategies now because Tom Duval's on the hard stint, which I think Andy still has to do. So that's why they're on different tyres at the moment. So here we come, Feebar into the pits on this lap. Went a full extra lap. Nice out the pits, SBY follows him in. And comes Will as well. Nicely into the pits. And comes Blue Flag. And comes Tom Duval. So for a lap at least, it will be Andy who is in the lead of this race, as everyone else enters the pits. Pagani will be in P2 for a while at least. And it's going to be Feebar that I'm interested in. So where Lee is out of the last corner, Feebar is out of the pits directly behind Biggles and Lee. So this is your top 3 net leaders. Lee, Cole, Biggles and Feebar. Lee underfueling though and is going to have some fuel saving to do, and also we didn't notice in the last stint that Lee definitely using more tyres. So this is your battle for the win between Nissan, an Audi and a Lambo. I don't think Tom will manage to get involved. He's 3 seconds behind. And then comes another Audi of Aaron, and then another GTR of Carl P8, then SBY in the Peugeot, the other Audi, then another Lambo of Ross, then blue flag, Tom Duval, and Graham, who is actually caught up to the back of Tom Duval. However, I don't know, Graham's got a lot of fuel saving to do. So Andy here is leading for a lap or two. Bugari's in P2 for this lap alone. He will be in the pits at the end of the lap. To fuel. It's going to be watching very closely the times, the gaps between this top three on the other two pits. Who is going to win this? Lee got track position, fuel saving to do though. Biggles behind. However, Biggles is all over the back of Lee. As Lee is fuel saving. You see Biggles is all over the back of him. Bieber's just there as well. Andy carries on, he's got enough for another lap or so. Bieber 1 second off of Biggles, that's closed. And Biggles has dropped off in the back of Lee, he was only a few times behind. Bieber only a couple 2 seconds off the lead. And they're all kind of holding station for the time being. Still 3 seconds behind though to T Smith, so oh, well, I didn't notice that, Joker. Good spot. Don't know, Grumpy has seemingly exited proceedings of the race. Oh, keeping distances very close together. He's very close to the back of SBY here. They're on the same strategy. Here comes Ross behind. And a little bit spread out now. Well, SBY, here we go. Who is going to stop here? Heading towards the hairpin we go. And there we go, it is well peeling to the inside. He's going to have the inside line. He should have this done. And to the brakes they go. Will gets to turn in very nicely as well. He made sure he didn't outbrake himself, and that's a lovely move from Will. That's P8 out. It's miraculous how close they are. It's not really changed at all in the gaps between them. All running at the same pace. Bieber is very slightly closing up to Biggles there for that last sector, and he is now closing. Before that, very closely matched. Definitely Bieber is the one with the upper hand at the moment. And definitely Lee still has fuel saving to do because he has got a good few litres less than the other two. Bieber, he needs a good run through of these sectors. If he can get a good run through the docks, he might be close enough to pick up a big toll. At the moment I don't think he's quite close enough. He needs another tenth or two around this dock section. To be fair though, he has got that. Biggles has a bit of an awful run, a really awful run, and Bieber is right there, less than half a second covers them. Bieber's also got a great run through this corner, he always does. Got a good run. And this is going to be interesting. Audi versus Lambo in a straight line. As Andy peels off into the pits, this is going to release this top three. We'll be racing to the flag. As Bieber is very close. Will he think about a move? thinks better of it. Interestingly though, Lee's had a dodgy run as well. Feeber's now only 1.2 off the lead, so there's 8 tenths closing in. Biggles is closing a little bit, Feeber's closing even more. I think Feeber's the quickest of the three, but I don't think it's going to be easy to get past here. I don't think there's much in it between them. I think Feeber's marginally quicker, but this. The good thing, I think Lee might be strategically as well, in a way, going to try and keep Biggles in this kind of far enough away that he's not under pressure, but close enough that it stops Feeber perhaps. Feeber is all over the back now of Biggles here, less than 3 tenths as they head in towards the docks, and the Feeber tends to get a good exit out of the dock section, so this is where Biggles had a bit of a disaster last lap. So he cannot afford that. Again, Biggles he struggles on that latter part. Feeber didn't get the best run through the first part, but then the exit, Biggles just doesn't seem to have the same confidence that Biggles. Sorry, Biggles doesn't seem to have the same confidence Feeber has on that exit to kind of go flat out. I think Biggles is lifting ever so slightly. Feeber is now all over the back. He's even closer than he was last time. He's going to be very close. He's going to be near enough side by side going into this braking zone. Is he going to go for a send? He's going to go for a send. He's going to go down the inside. Biggles sees it coming. Feeber gets it turned in, and there's been a change for P2. There might be yet more drama in this race as Aaron P5, Carl P6, it's Willen P7 ahead of the two Peugeots. Now Andy's in P9, but he's on hard tyres. Ross, remember, is on medium tyres, so Ross has the advantage here in terms of tyres. Oh, and Andy, you can see he is not having an easy time of it. Yeah, so we'll quickly watch this before we jump back to the battle lead though. It's going to be an easy overtake there as Andy's all over the shot on the exit. 9 tenths is the gap out front. 58.4 last time around for Lee, 58.1 last time around for Feeber. Lee has marginally less fuel, but it's very slight. So I think Lee has done most if not all of his fuel saving now that he has to do. So it's going to be a race to the checkered flag here between the two of them, flat out, I'd imagine, all the way. And it's all going to go down to who has the better pace now. As Lee better on the entry to the docks. Feeber once again, common theme, better on the exit. And Feeber with a brilliant run, and Lee with a dodgy run, and has lost pace all the way through. The gap's under 3 tenths. Is there going to be a change for the lead here? Feeber has a look, Lee blocks him off. But again, Feeber now back in the slip. He's going again. Feeber pulls to the inside. Lee tries to defend. Feeber can't quite get the move done. They're side by side near enough there, and then Lee gets back in front. Feeber with the run, with the slip. Is he going to think about a move? This would be ballsy through here. We're on lap 22. There are still 4 laps left. Can Lee hold off for 4 laps? Lee better run for the last corner. Gives him a tiny bit more breathing space. Biggles is dropping off it a little bit. I wonder if Carl is going to be thinking about a move. Maybe an Aaron coming up here. He's closing in now. Ross is in P9. He's moved up. As we saw past that, Andy, who might be under threat from blue flag shortly. Gallany, unfortunately, strategy. I don't think it was working out. It's definitely not. He's right at the back. So Lee, again, brakes later, stronger at the entry of the docks, and again, Feber stronger towards the exit. Not quite as pronounced that time, though. I think Lee got a bit of a better run that time. It's this corner where it's really key. Get a good run, and it was a similar run through there. I think Lee's maybe just far enough in front that he might be okay this time around. This is for double points as well for Lee, remember. Feber is closing quite considerably now, though. Is Feber going to go for a move here? He pulls to the outside. He's late on the brakes, very late on the brakes. He's not going to have the run here. However, he gets the cut back, and he gets an incredible run, and he's got the inside line. What a piece of driving that is if he gets this done. Feber, inside line. Lee has to sit back. Feber gets it done. He broke very, very late, and he went all the way around the outside, but he got the cut back, and he got such drive off the corner, and he's managed to get past that GTR, and Feber for the first time takes the lead. 3 laps remaining. Lee's closing in slipstream. Will he think about a move back? Nope, thinks against it, and Feber takes us through turn 1. There's only 2.5 temps separating though. Lee's looking for a quick way back. Feber probably going to have to go defensive here into the dock section. Especially remember, as Lee, I said, breaks later into this entry to the docks. And Feber is going to have to go defensive possibly. Lee has a look down the inside. Feber holds on though. Biggles is closing back in here because of this battling. As Lee, big old slide. Feber gets a tiny bit of breathing room here. He's 5.5 temps in the leads. And Feber gets a good run through there. And that's up to 7 temps. That's a big enough gap then that Lee will not have a run on him. Still as you were. Carl having a look at the back of Aaron. I think Will is closing in to the back, maybe perhaps. SBY. Comes Ross, and blue flag has got past Andy. We're going back, and Feber has got a second lead near enough here as Lee, bad run out the corner into the hairpin. Biggles is only narrowly behind. Get back in range here. Feber looks like he's edging away here. He looks like he's very narrowly starting to try and creep away. 2 laps left. 4 minutes, less than 4 minutes of racing to go. He's at the fastest lap of the race. He's had to do it the long way. Started down the field, picked people off. Saved a bit of fuel. Lee underfueled, got track position on both times he pit. However, he made a mistake, and Biggles is now having a look. Lee went defensive. Thing is, Lee is too busy having to concentrate now on Biggles that he's letting Feber get away. And Feber now has more than a second. Biggles needs to try and hold onto the back. See if Lee can make another little mistake. The gap out front's 1.2 seconds. Feber's away. He is gone. Unless he makes a mistake. He's going to struggle, and Carl has just got past Aaron. However, Aaron's right in the back of him. Will Aaron think about a move back here? Need to be careful as well, and that's only 2.5 seconds behind. He's going to want to battle too much that could possibly end up losing some more places here. Aaron has a little look. pulls to the outside. And he tries to go the long way around. He's going to do a cutback similar to what Feber did. And he's going to try and get the inside. He has got a bit of extra speed. He's alongside. And Aaron goes to the inside. However, Carl sweeps around the outside. Keeps the move going. He's going to have to sit back. They're losing time. They need to be careful. It's out front though. Well, there's a 2-second lead. Feber's away. Lee again. This is where this tyre comes into play as well. Oh, the only thing is Feber's low on fuel. Feber is low on fuel. Look at how much less Feber has in fuel. He's already well in the red here. Feber might have some fuel saving to do here to get to the end. Now Lee, is there going to be yet more drama here? This time to do with fuel. Lee and Biggles, P2 and P3. It's side by side between Carl and Aaron. Carl going defensive again. Aaron goes the long way round. He's trying to hold it round the outside. Can he do it? Oh, it's side by side. Pushing each other all the way. Feber trying to save some fuel, I'd imagine now. We've got Biggles having a go. SPY's picked up a penalty, which is going to allow perhaps Ross to make a move. As out in front there, we've got in front of them, we've got Aaron going for a move on Carl. What's happening out front? Is it Lee or Biggles? It's going to take P2. Biggles goes to the outside. Lee defends the inside line. I think it's going to be as you work. We'll switch back. It's side by side. Aaron down the inside. And Carl tries to hold it round the outside. Aaron has the inside line. I think Aaron's got it done. He does. Feber though comes round the last corner. The last few corners now. He's just got enough fuel to hold on. By the look of it. Round the last corner he goes. And Feber is going to take the race win at Tokyo South. Lee is going to take P2. Biggles takes P3. It's going to be Tom P4. And it's going to be Aaron who gets back past Carl to take P5. Then comes P7 for, well, P8 for SPY. P9 for Ross. P10 it was for Blue Flag. P11 for Andy. P12 it was for Tom. P13 it was for Pagani. And I don't know what has happened to Graham. Oh, Graham ran out of fuel and had to do another pit stop. I did say it looked like he was really low on fuel. Unfortunately for Graham, he is a bit of a mess up there on his fuel. And he's going to take away P14. So, Feber though, what a result for him. P1, what a result as well for Lee. Said he would probably want to do a bit better than this sprint race. Remember, it's double points for the Nissans. He got P2 in the end up, so good, solid result. And Biggles, big improvement as well in P3. We'll get some solid points for the Audi boys. Now, last night did well as well. Very, very strong result there from the Audis. P3, P5 and P7. What a result that is for them. The Peugeots P4, P8 and P11. Solid from them. Bit of a mixed bag for the Lambos. P1, P9 and P14. The Vipers as kind of a bit of a tricky race for them. Very much so, a bit of a tricky week. P10, P12, P13, very tricky for them. So yeah, that is the end of your week 2. Just double checking. I think week 3 is at Trial Mountain next week, I believe. So do join us again for that. Obviously Thursday GT2, Friday GT1. So do join us again for that. Thank you very much for joining me this evening. I hope you have a nice night.